Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I want to make this one really quick and I just want to give you so much value with this. I believe this is one of the best keys I have to give and I want to give it first. In my last video, I spoke a lot about how we can use other people's hindsight for our foresight. And I want to give you a specific example of someone that I took a very big key from and I want to give it to you. And obviously it was my dad. And I wish I didn't have to learn this after he died because I really think if I knew the basic premise of this, I would have been able to talk to him on a different level. But, it's neither here nor there. And I just want to give it to you now so hopefully you don't have to go through any other hardship. And I know this one's going to hit home for a lot of people. And so my dad, obviously you guys know now, when he took his life, there's a lot of things that happen when someone takes their life, but one of them is excessive rumination. And it's usually rumination about regret. My dad had a lot of regrets. But the biggest regret of them all, that was a theme across many different aspects of his life, was caring too much about what other people thought about him. And that's what I want to talk about today. A lot of us say that we don't care about what other people think about, but if we're being real, and I'm being real too, up until he died, I really did. I would like to believe that I didn't, but I did. We're human beings. We're social beings. We're in a social hierarchy. There's so many things to compare. Sometimes it's normal to compare. When you compare, you want to hear about what other people think about you as well and stuff like that. It's a really hard thing to get away from, but once you do, it's extremely freeing. And so I just want to tell you how I have basically thought about doing it and give you some context on the way that I built up to be able to actually do this. And so I want to talk about 3 specific things. And the first one is I'll use an example of, major life choices and how we entrust others more than ourselves for that. The second one is alcohol with friends. And the third one is how you can actually not care about what other people think. And so with the first one, and I'm just using my dad as an example because it's easier to tell stories and, talk about these things so it makes sense. And just before I get into it, guys, I'm not telling you not to be selfless. I believe in selflessness so much. That is not what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to go be a narcissist and not care what other people think and go live life on your own terms. That is not what I'm saying right now. I'm just saying not to care so much that it overrides your own opinion about yourself and what's right for you. So anyway, let's get straight into it. Let's say, because this is one of the biggest things, right? And it's the easiest one to talk about. Let's say you want to change careers or you have different goals. Say you're 25, 35, 45, even 55, 65, whatever it is. You go up to your closest loved ones and you say, hey, I'm thinking about changing from this to this. And the first reaction you get is, whoa. What are you doing, man? Settle down. You don't need to go and do that. That's crazy. That is so crazy. You've already got all of this set up. If you're going to risk all of that to go for this, that's stupidity, man. Like you can't do that. You've already worked so hard to get to where you are now and you're going to just throw it all away. You're going to change. And I'm obviously talking if you actually not just going off of an impulsive thing, but you really want to change careers. When you hear that, even though they're coming from love, that is going to probably not lead you in the right direction. And I'm not saying to never consult with family or friends. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying to take everything with a pinch of salt, because when you hear that person is generally introspecting, meaning that they're looking from within thinking, hey, he said he wants to go do this. Well, what would that mean? Oh, it means he'd have to go do this, and this. Well, I wouldn't be able to do that. Oh, I would not be able to do that. There's no way I'd be able to go and do all those things. I better tell him that he better not do that because he's going to risk it. What I'm saying is they're introspecting using their own context and pushing that onto you so it makes it seem that it's truth. And it's not, because you have a completely different context to them. You have a completely different ambition, different drive, different skills that you've acquired to go and do this thing. You've acquired so many different things and have a completely different life context that him or her introspecting and then giving that context to you to help you make your decision is basically like asking a duck. Not to that extreme, obviously, but it doesn't help unless it's someone in your field that has been in a similar context to you and is looking to do the thing that you want to do. That's the only way that you should really trust someone with everything. And I'm not saying that you should never speak to others. I'm not saying that. that, like, always listen with open ears. You know, you would still gain some keys from what they say, some perspective that you haven't ever thought of before. But what I'm saying is don't take it as absolute truth and let it derail you from what your goals are. That's what I'm saying, because you care about their opinion over yourself, or you're afraid of judgment from them. Don't do that, because this time is going and it's so short. And you know, if you look across all of the literature across many different suicides, one of the biggest and most related variables to suicide is excessive rumination. And when you break down rumination, people, generally speaking, ruminate about the things that they didn't do over the things that they did do. Now, I'm not saying that if you've done something catastrophic or bad, you're not going to regret it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you ruminate and regret the things that you didn't do over the things that you did do. That's what you think about. Now, could you imagine how you'll be in 20 years' time if this career or goal or life change is so important to you? It's deep in your heart. It's so important. And you listen to other people over yourself and you don't let yourself go for it. How much regret are you going to have? I can tell you it's a lot. It's a lot. My dad had so many career opportunities, so many things, but he always picked financial security and safety. And I'm not saying to not pick financial security. That's being mature and it's being an adult. But if you have the means, which I believe he had the means to go and do this as well, because he set himself up. He put himself in a position so he could take risk. He should have gone for it. He regretted it so much. He would always say that he regretted so many things, but the biggest ones were big career moves. But it wasn't just because of the career, because life isn't all about career. It's how you treat people. It's how you speak to people. It's how you are. It's your being. It's your nature. That's what he mostly regretted in the end, because by not doing that, he started to form different beliefs, negative. He let all these negative beliefs, self-limiting beliefs come in, and it warped his personality. He essentially, in the end, became a shell of himself. And that had huge ramifications for how he would associate and speak to people. I'm not saying that he was a bad person. No, he wasn't bad at all. He had so many friends, so many people reaching out to him. And this is leading me on to my next point about who you should hang out with. So he had so many people that were reaching out to him and asking him to catch up and saying, hey man, I can see you're down, like I'm there for you. And above all, his brother, like I'm not just saying this because he's my uncle, but his brother, I've never seen a brother like this. They were together every single day and they're middle-aged men with their own families. His brother gave so much of his time for him. My dad had so many people around him, so many loved ones, but he still felt isolated. Could you imagine that? You have so many people around you, so many people that love you. And I mean so many that want to be there for you, and you still feel isolated. It really made me think, what makes someone feel isolated when they have all these loving people around them? And it's because of a few things. And I'm not going to go into all of them because I want to actually go into that with the studies, but I want to give you some keys. And one of them is because you always hang around people when alcohol is around. Guys, I'm not saying to not ever drink. That's not what I'm saying. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you drink alcohol, it makes socializing so much easier because everything seems more enjoyable, entertaining, and everything's just easier and conversation just flows. But it's at a much more simplified level than what it would have been if you're sober. And so when you always hang out with people around alcohol and you're never really talking about what your true self-interests are, because, you know, it's like the conversation and the dialect is a lot more simplified usually. What do you think you're going to feel like when stuff hits the fan and you actually need to speak to someone and you've never even really opened up that much and you haven't talked about things at a deep level and you haven't done all this stuff? What I'm saying is that's one way. But the point that I'm trying to make is that when you pick friends that you don't have anything in common with, and alcohol is a way to make that process of picking the wrong friends a lot easier, you will feel isolated. And I'm not saying that the friends my dad had are bad people. No, they're all very beautiful and they did care about him. But I'm just saying they didn't have anything in common with my dad. My dad had a list of people that were reaching out to him from the gym and all these other places that he would have had so much more in common with, probably would have bonded with better, would have felt like he had a sense of security with them as well. But he never allowed himself. Guys, if you're growing, I'm not saying to dump your friends, but if you're growing and your friendships have always been surrounded by alcohol and you don't really talk about things that are deep and meaningful to you, well, You got to change, guys. You got to do something about it before it's too late, is what I'm saying. And that's what he regretted. He said those people were so beautiful, but he never got to express himself in the way that he wanted to. And so he felt like he was a shell of himself around them, and he never got to be himself. And over time, he started to be less and less of himself until he didn't feel like himself. And then, he felt really isolated because he had no one to go to because he's never spoken to them about this stuff before. And that is so common amongst so many people. A lot of, especially in Western civilization, 18 to 24, especially if you're going to uni or you're becoming a tradesman or whatever. And on the weekend, it's all just about, going out and doing things, and you just drink your senses away and you just do mindless stuff. And are you really building friendships is what I'm saying. Are you building true friendships? I'm not saying to not have fun. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying to go and do those things. I never judge anyone. I don't judge anyone with what they do. I had a party phase as well. I'm not judging anyone. I'm just saying you want to have true friendships because it's one of the biggest protective factors against mental health later on in life. You want to have a lot of friends around you that care and love you. And most importantly, you want to have a partner. Above all, you want to have a partner that you can be yourself with. If I was to speak about one thing most important, is to have a partner that you have a lot of things in common with, or at least you're able to be your true self to. So you feel connected to someone and you feel real, and it's an authentic relationship. And so to drum that point home, I'm just saying, if you're constantly around people that you don't feel like you can be yourself, I'm not saying to dump them. I'm just saying, be yourself more, get out there more, and try to meet other people that you do have something in common with. And watch how it helps you, unless you're a complete introvert, obviously. These two things that I've said, the mistakes are made. So when you're trying to pick that other career or that big life decision or the move or whatever you're going to do, or you're trying to go for new friends or you can't speak to your other friends because of certain things, the main reason why you can't do those things is probably because you care and value what other people think above yourself, and you feel like you're going to seem unsociable or different or not cool, whatever it is. Guys, just let that go. I'm telling you now, let it go. People don't think about you as much as what we think they think about us. People can only talk about other people for so long. At my dad's funeral, there were so many loving people, and my dad made some mistakes, but nobody was talking about the mistakes on that day. People might judge initially, but they're not going to continue judging. And even if they were, people that judge, and I just want to tell you this, people that judge are only judging because they're not happy in themselves. And I know that sounds so cliche. It really sounds so cliche, but I'm yet to see in real life someone that is successful, and I don't just mean financially, I mean with internal happiness as well, is secure and everything like that judges someone. I'm yet to see it, because when you are in that state of happiness and joy, you don't want bad for someone else. As a human being, we're supposed to be altruistic. That's our nature. We're supposed to help each other. That's what we're supposed to be here for, so we can survive and reproduce and help each other and grow as a society. We're not born to bring others down. People don't like doing that. And so when someone does judge you, you can just look and think, they didn't come into this world and pick a bunch of criteria and say, hey, I want to be a really judgmental person. They didn't do that. They wouldn't want to be that because it feels more yuck for them to be judging someone. It literally changes your biochemistry when you're judging someone because it's associated with yuckiness and sometimes cortisol if it's really strong. So you shouldn't even care because they're not doing it from a place of just pure spite all the time. Just maybe on a very rare occasion it could be. But what I'm saying is, even if it was, you just shouldn't care, guys. And now that my dad has passed away the way that he did, and I have seen how short life is. I have seen how short life can be. It's just shocking to like I said, I'm always going to be authentic with you guys. It's just shocking. And hearing from my dad, my idol, him saying that one of his biggest regrets was caring about what other people think. As soon as he died, not as soon as, but, through my grieving, I just realized, no, nobody even watches these videos yet. And I'm just making them, and I've wanted to help people for a long time, but I just cared what other people thought. I don't anymore. It's so much more freeing, guys. Just live your life how you want to live it, and just be nice and loving to other people. And I promise you, the regrets that you'll have doing that will be far less than the ones that you will have if you value everyone else's opinion and you derail yourself because of it. That's what I'm saying. The regrets you'll have later on, if you were to think about yourself, hang on, I want to go and do all of this, but I'm not going to because of them, versus I want to do all of this and I don't mind what other people speak about me. And if I fail, I fail. Who cares? And if you want to go and do other things as well, just don't tell people what you're doing if you think they're going to judge you. Tell them once you've made a few steps and a few moves into it. You know, there's so many ways around it. What I'm saying is you don't need to be at the burden of other people. You don't need to let them completely destroy your goals and how you want to go about your life. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope it helps. I hope it helps someone. I hope you guys can see that I'm just purely coming from love here. And I'm not saying to be a narcissist. I'm still saying to go and help and love everyone and do all of that. But I'm just saying create the life that you want, not the one that you don't want. Don't let other people infiltrate your mind. And especially like if you really break it down to think, how sad is it that you would value someone else's opinion over yourself? It's just really sad. I can't believe I did it for my whole life. The data is there, guys. The data is there. Suicide people that ruminate over regrets of things that they didn't do are usually because they valued other people's opinions over themselves and had different life paths because of it. This is my message to you to stop it right now. Stop putting other people's opinions and values over yourself. I'm not saying to literally neglect all of them. That's not what I'm saying. I still believe everyone on this planet has something to teach. Somewhat, you can learn something from everyone. Even when they've done things quote unquote wrong, you can still learn something from them. And so what I'm saying is take everything with a pinch of salt. Don't take other people's introspection and context for truth and replace it with yours so that you derail your life. Don't do that. Just don't. Just do your life because you know what's best for you. Seek out counsel when you need it, but don't always take everything as absolute truth. You're allowed to take things with a grain of salt. Nobody's walked every step that you've walked. That's what I'm trying to say. And I just think this will save you so much in the future if you just really apply this now. So many people could probably talk bad about me making these videos. Who's this guy to make these videos like that? I don't care, guys. I like doing it. It's amazing that even if I help one person, let your why override what other people say about you. And then go for the excitement. How exciting is it to go for something that you really want to go for and you allow yourself to go for it? Do you know how exciting it is? It's so exciting, guys. You got to do it. You got to do it now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Start today. And no, none of this is mental health professional advice. Don't go quit your job tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying. Be smart about it. I'm just saying start mapping out your life and the direction in which you want to go in the way that is true to you. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, guys, that's all for today. I just wanted to make that quick video, and yeah, I hope that you guys have gotten some value from this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.